Okay, Houston, we've had a problem here.
This is Houston. Say again, please.
Houston, we've had a problem.
Hey guys, welcome back to Alpha Logic Garage. As you can see behind me, I got the motor rebuilt and put back in. Still need to do the accessories and put the electrical cords where they go. I don't know exactly where they all go, but we'll figure that out. First, I need to go through and replace the wire loom that's on there. It's pretty nasty. So while I do that, why don't you guys take a look at the engine rebuild, and when we get back, we'll see if we can figure out where all this stuff goes. See you then.
In the last video, the threads for one of the main caps stripped out, so before I could begin the rebuild, I drilled, tapped, and installed a time cert for the main bearing cap, and I replaced all the main bearing cap bolts with studs, just like I had done with the head bolts. Next, I installed all the main bearings and lubricated them using liquid moly assembly grease, before installing the crankshaft. Installing the main caps, and torquing everything down. Next, I flipped the engine over so I could install the piston and rings. I used the wooden handle of a rubber mallet to tap the pistons out of the ring compressor while I guided the rods into place. With the pistons and rods installed, I can move back to the lower portion of the block and install the windage tray. Next, I installed the oil pump and rewired the oil pump nut safety lead that we installed previously to make sure the nut does not back off. And finally, we're ready to reinstall the cylinder head and torque it down. Next, I installed the lifter trays. Well, once I figured out which direction they go in. Next, I reinstalled the camshafts and the camshaft caps. And finally, I was ready to reinstall the motor into the car. It was pretty easy, just a bunch of repositioning, lift here, push there until everything lined up, and I bolted it in. With the motor installed, it was time to work on a step I had been dreading, the Vanos timing. Looking back now though, it was really not all that bad. First, you install the locking pin that goes through the flex plate and holds the crankshaft in place. Install the jig on the back of the cylinder head that holds the camshafts in place, with the dots on the back of the camshafts pointing up. Align the arrow on the timing chain sprocket to align with the top of the cylinder head. Install the temporary timing chain tensioner, just hand tight. Use the jig to align the camshaft chains to the sprockets and install. Take the large aluminum block and the timing tools and install it in front of the head. The little timing bells should be pulled forward to touch this block. Then you can just pull the camshaft tensioner needle out to set the timing. Then just tighten everything down and you're done. Alright, now I have a bunch of oil I need to clean up. But the good news is the car ran great, besides the oil spitting out the side, and that was just a stupid mistake by me. When I was doing the Vanos timing, I left the temporary chain tensioner in, so I'll put the right one in and start putting the front of this thing back together and get that oil cleaned up before my wife notices it. Join me next time. We'll create a punch list of everything that's left on the car and get started on working on it. In the meantime, if you feel like supporting the channel, check out alphalogicgarage.com. You can find some merch I created up there. Any support is greatly appreciated. Have a good week.